Hey everybody, it's Andy here, and just a quick video update, let you all know I'm still alive and everything. It's just that it's summertime now, and I'm very active now, and I like to stay outside and do things. Since this is AndyVLOG episode 2, just going to do a quick couple of updates. Weight loss going great. Actually, I went down 189 pounds. Don't worry though, it's back up a little bit, so I'm doing really good on that regard. Best advice I can give you, keep doing it. Next review's not ready yet, or even, we're working on something awesome. Well, actually I'm using one of my studio grade lights that I got now, doing that. I'm purchasing a boom mic, wind muff, the whole 9 yards. And a friend of mine has a studio grade camera. I mean, the camera he has, the body, they filmed TV shows such as House with it. And he's got $1,500 lens, and we're going to shoot an Andy VGR episode in full 1080p. So I'm in the middle of writing that script, and we're going to use the lights, the boom mic, the whole 9 yards. It's going to be awesome. You know, I'm not going to make any promises on when it will be. It's not going to be the next review, that's for sure. It probably won't be the next few reviews. I'll let you know when that's coming out. Alright, now to the matter at hand. I've gotten a lot of requests for this, and I'm so sorry it took so long to get around to doing this. People wanted to know, after I did the Hercules review, yes, these are the seasons, they wanted to know what my personal favorite episode was of the show. Well, I thought about it, and there's just a lot of content here. So I'm not going to pick a single episode. I'm going to pick one of my favorite telemovies that they did, and one episode from each season, and tell you why. These are the original. They're just now re-releasing the DVDs of this. I think they're up to season 3 or something. They got weird, funky new titles on them. These are the ones from Anchor Bay. These are the original ones that came out. The reason why I like these, this is the first season. Notice how big it is. It's because it's got all the movies on it too. So this is, you know, really a good set. It's got the entire first season and the 5 action-packed movies, and I mean, that's a really good deal. The new season pack that comes out, like you see it in a Walmart, it's in the thin pack, it doesn't have the movies on it, and I don't know why. It's the company that's releasing them now. Yeah, I've got every season like this, and this is my preferred version of the show on DVD. I've seen every episode of it now. Well, I've seen it before, but I'm just saying, I've seen every episode years ago, and I still watch them on occasion. So let's go ahead and get down to favorites and why I think, you know, these are my personal best episodes. Sadly, the only thing I'm going to try to do, if I get some time, is to edit some pictures in here, because if I show a single clip, YouTube jumps down my throat. Seems like more than anybody else. I don't know why, but I've shown just small tidbits of movies before and gotten videos yanked or flagged because of it. So I'm not even going to bother to put that much time into it. So, you know, I apologize for that in advance. But here we go. Favorite movie was Hercules in the Ring of Fire. Why? Well, it had a lot of special effects. It showed Hercules what he was willing to do to prove that he was a good guy, in that case to be immortal. And it's also where he met Daenerys on the show, played by Tawny Katane, the girl from the White Snake videos, crawling all over the car and in the apartment and stuff. I just really like that one. The other one seemed a little too out there. The Amazon one wasn't bad, that was the first one, but the Ring of Fire was really cool, you know, and showed Zeus's weak side. It was a really good episode. Really good. Now, since I don't have all these memorized, I had to write them in Notepad here, so if you see me looking over, that's all I'm doing. Season 1 was Pride Comes Before a Brawl. Why? Because it shows Hercules and Aeolus, who are always like this. They get into a little tiff when Aeolus gets prideful, and they split off for a while. Now, Aeolus goes on about his way and proves that he can do it. He wasn't being prideful. He can actually do the stuff that he was talking about to Herc. And at the same time, Nemesis comes down, sent by Hera, to kill Aeolus. And Herc has to talk her out of it. So it just works how one side is doing one thing, one side is doing the other, and then at the end they... And there's even a little scene with an arrow at the end. So it's a really good episode. I have to mention, I'm also going to do some mentions from the seasons. This, of course, was the season where they introduced the character of Xena that they rolled off into her own TV show. There's like 4 or 5 episodes that she was involved in at the end. It was really cool that they did that. They did the same thing with like Stargate and a bunch of other shows where they would roll off TV series out of another. You know, it's called a spin-off, obviously. Alright, Season 2, The Apple. Favorite episode for a whole matter of reasons here. Number 1, Kevin Sorbo directed it, and he did something cool. If you watch the special features, at least on the DVD set I have of Season 2, he talks about how he filmed it partially like a Woody Allen movie. Now, I'm not a big fan of Woody Allen movies or anything, but he shows one scene in particular where he has the characters in the background and they keep popping up in the front and the foreground and going, and the camera doesn't move, the characters has to. It's really cool. Another one is because it's very funny. And it's also got a lot of Aeolus, which I'm a huge Aeolus fan. Michael Hurst was great in that role, and he's thinking about how he can be better than Hercules with the apples. So it kind of goes along the same kind of theme with Pride Comes Before a Brawl. It's just a lot of fun to watch. It's fun. It's really good. All right, moving on. Season 3. Now, Season 3 was a big season of Hercules. Everybody, I cannot talk about this season, and if I don't mention this one specific thing, then people are going to be like, oh, you don't know Hercules. That would be the Hind trilogy, as it's called. The Hind, the Golden Hind, of course, the Golden Hind, the blood can kill a god, and there's one hind left, and Hercules falls in love with her, and he gets tricked into killing her. Basically, he gets possessed at night, stabs her to death, kills her, and then Xena has to come in and help clean it up. It's really cool. It's a 3-parter. It's a really good, that's why it's called the trilogy. It's a 3-part like story arc that sets up and plays throughout the rest of the seasons, like small tidbits here and there. And it shows Daenerys again, stuff like that going on in the background. He has to go tell her that he's marrying someone new and he's moving on. And it's also not the first time we see her, but it's the one where they actually started hitting it off. Sam Jenkins, which became Sam Sorbo, his wife, who was also in Andromeda. That's right. Matter of fact, while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to do a top episodes of Andromeda, because that's another kind of like Hercules. Basically, it's Hercules in space. Anyways, so he meets his wife on there, and now she's in Andromeda with him, or she was, and they're done with that show. But yeah, it's just really cool. But my personal favorite episode is A Rock and a Hard Place. Now, A Rock and a Hard Place is about a bad guy, or a guy that everyone is condemning outside, and for murdering this family. And he gets stuck in a mine with a rock on him, and Hercules has to help him out. And it just basically, it shows a lot of good points, in my opinion. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion now. It shows a lot of good points on A, how someone should be treated when they're still innocent and not proven guilty. B, how a person should behave even when the person is come to find out that they are guilty. And C, it's just a really good episode about redemption, really. That's a very good theme, I think, to keep in a show. It's heavy on drama elements. It's a lot of fun. I say it's a lot of fun. I don't mean it's like a kick butt good time. It's a lot of fun in that it engages your mind, keeps your mind thinking, keeps your mind fresh. You're constantly thinking, wow, there's a good lesson to be had here. So basically, at the end of the story, the guy makes up with his long-lost son and tells him not to be the way he is, not to turn out like he is. And then he begs Hercules to help end his suffering because he's got a rock on him. That's the only thing keeping him alive. And Herc takes on the task of lifting up the rock. And we see it from the guy's perspective. He just kind of slowly blacks out and dies. But he lifts up the rock to ease the man's suffering. And Herc basically says, I'm just here to I don't really care. I just want to make sure your son. Basically, if I remember right, Hercules plays the line really well. You get the people outside who are just chanting, and they're creating like a whole media circus, like they do when when there's like a trial or something going on outside. And then there's the guy inside who admits that he finally did kill the people, but he tells his son not to do it. And Hercules kind of feels sorry for him in that regard. But he plays the line right down the middle. Afterwards, he goes out and he tells the people outside, that's not the proper way to behave. And it's really good. I like it when real-life TV mimics what's going on. Basically, be a morality play. The old Star Trek used to do that a lot. And, matter of fact, I'm going to do a top episodes of that, too. Well, you guys got me rolling. You don't know what you got yourselves into. Sorry. Anyways, I just like, the morality aspect of it. Just, it's good. It's good. How do I want to say this? There's so much mindlessness on TV, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that after a stressful day. But it's also good once in a while when they interject some morality into it, and just it gets you thinking. It's always good to be thinking. So that's my favorite episode of Season 3. Season 4. Now, Season 4 is another one I have to mention. It had another famous episode called Yes, Virginia, There is a Hercules. During the production of Season 4, Kevin Sorbo got very sick. Something to do with a heart condition. I'm not sure the whole 9 yards what was wrong with him. He wasn't in a lot of the episodes. He kind of phoned them home. He would show up. Oh, I'm going to go this way, Aeolus. And then we'd watch the episode from Aeolus' point of view, and then Herc show up at the end. The guy was pretty sick. So one of the episodes was Kevin Sorbo was missing after an earthquake. And it's set in modern day, and they played on the fact that they're making fun of old episodes, like, hey, let's have Porcules, or Chimpules. That's right, they already did the Porcules thing. And they just show, it's basically a clip show, and you learn that Kevin Sorbo is actually Hercules in real life. So it's just kind of cool. They mix all that up. It's a fun episode to watch. But my personal favorite episode was War Wounds. War Wounds shows Iphicles, which is played by Kevin... I cannot think of his name. Kevin Smith, sorry. As you all know, as I said in the Hercules review, Kevin Smith died tragically in an accident. Great actor. Sad to see him go. But he also played Iphicles, which is Hercules' brother. He didn't just play Ares. And in this one, he's a king. And in the episode, he's not getting along with these war veterans. Now, Herc kind of sides with the war veterans, but he's also at odds because it's his brother. So I don't remember exactly what happens, but Herc, of course, works out an intermediary type thing between them and makes them both realize how both are being stupid on both sides. It was a good episode. Once again, Herc toes the line pretty good right down the middle. Yeah, it's like, yeah, these veterans deserve this, but at the same time, you guys shouldn't be acting this way. One of those type of situations. Very good episode. Season 5. Now, Season 5 was a big season for Herc fans. In Season 5, Aeolus dies on the very first episode. And, once again, I have to mention one episode before I get on to my favorites. And that is, for those of you just joining us, it is the sequel to Yes, Virginia, There is a Hercules. Everybody has to go to this camp, the writers do, and there's a bunch of funny little dialogues. It's another clip show, but it's really good, and it pokes fun at the show and the producers and things like that, and it's great. So, my favorite episode in this one, it's a two-parter, Faith and Redemption. Faith is the episode where Aeolus dies. Hercules and Aeolus have to go to Samaria, I believe, or Sumatra, however you say the name, and they have to help out. I see Gina Torres' character. Gina Torres did Firefly, of course, but on Hercules she played Andromeda? Artemis, something like that. It had one of those spacey names. And you learn that she's a princess and her brother's the king. And he wants Hercules to help him get this chalice to help him. Well, he doesn't want his help. He actually tricks him, drinks out of the chalice, and unleashes an evil that needs a sacrifice of a pure heart, and it's going to sacrifice the king's sister. And Aeolus jumps in front of the knife and takes it and dies. And it's a very sad episode. And we see Hercules go through a whole dark thing where he travels clear up to Ireland, and he's talking with the Norse gods and a whole mixed up in there, and it's about finding yourself. The whole story arc is. It was very, very good, and there's like a second Aeolus that comes in the season. But Faith is a really good episode, and my other favorite one is Redemption. Now I have to look this up because, like I said, I don't have all of these. I don't have all these memorized. Yes, that's right. Redemption is the real sequel to Faith. In Faith, Hercules, after that, goes into descent and resurrection. He tries a couple different things. But in Redemption, that's episode 11, they actually conclude the Faith storyline, and he tries to get the demon out of Aeolus' body. Because after Faith, Aeolus becomes a villain, because he's got Dayhawk inside of him, a demon, basically. And in Redemption, he actually saves his friend by having to let him go, basically letting him fully die. So it was a very touching, it was a very, very touching idea of, just you care for someone that much that you can let them go. You can let them go, be at peace, and are you able to look beyond that? Pretty much. It was a very, very good. It's a very sad note, and at the end, Hercules finally does get to talk to his friend one last time, and he basically, comes to the conclusion that he's got to let Aeolus go to save him. That's all there is to it, and it's very sad, but sometimes that's just reality. That was the box, not me. Okay, get off the sad stuff there. Season 6. Now, Season 6 was a very short season. It was 8 episodes long, and the last episode, you probably think, oh, he's got to pick the last episode, full circle. Didn't really care for it. The whole idea of Nemesis child, Evander, and what a stupid name for a kid. And I'm not talking about the name itself. I'm talking about naming a kid Evander in Greek era. The Greek era. I'm sure maybe it was a name around then. I don't know if it was. It just, when you got names like Dionysus and Hercules and Iphicles and Ares. How many E's? Zeus. Hera. Evander kind of sticks out of there like, whoa, who's that? No, my personal favorite episode was Love Amazon Style. Basically, Hephaestus and Aphrodite are getting into a tiff. Aphrodite comes across these Amazon women and thinks, oh, they're a bunch of hagsters, as she says, and makes them basically be slaves to the men. It's also a unique episode in that I think... Okay, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't. But anyways, yeah, it's a very good episode, and of course, who is it here? Deimos, which is the same actor that it was the son of the woman that played Hercules' mother, the last one. I forget his name. He had another role, and that character got killed in the show. So Deimos was another person like that, and basically he takes advantage of it. It's a very fun episode to watch. It's very good. Keep in mind that Full Circle was the last episode that aired, but the actual last one was with Autolycus called Hercules Tramps and Thieves. That was the last one filmed, and the last scene was of Kevin Sorbo walking out of the harem or the stripper or whatever kind of club it is, walking out. And I've seen after the behind the scenes footage, and he's kind of crying when he comes back in, which I can understand that. You work 7 years on something. I'm counting the movie time here. 7 years, and then you got to say goodbye. You form relationships. People's kids are being born. People are getting married. People are dying. It brings everybody closer together. Yeah. So sorry to ramble on. I know my jaws are killing me, but that's my favorite Hercules episodes. You guys wanted to know, and I hope you like this. I'd love to hear what yours are, so leave comments below and stuff like that. Give me some likes and stuff. If you want to keep up what I'm doing, AndyVGR.com. I try to keep it up to date as possible. Don't always have time to post pictures or long notes. I know I went to Chicago over the past weekend and had a blast. It was only up there on Saturday. It's my second time going to Chicago. I was in line at the Sears Tower, and we were getting ready to buy our tickets at the Skydeck elevator, and they're like, oh, we have a 2-hour wait. I said, my goodness, it took less time to get here. I only live like an hour and a half to 2 hours away from Chicago, so yeah, I didn't bother with that. We rode a subway. I was with my brother. He had never rode a subway before, so we rode on one, and he didn't like it. I love trains myself. It's my preferred method of travel. But we got on the subway, and then we walked over to the Shed Aquarium. It was so packed we couldn't get on there either. So we took a sightseeing taxi to Navy Pier, and that was my first time being on Navy Pier. So the last time I went to Chicago, I actually made it into the Sears Tower and took some pictures towards Navy Pier, and now this time I was down at it, so it's kind of cool to see both angles. Took a lot of pictures of the buildings. I like architecture pictures. I got some really neat ones. I'll have to post them to the website when I get a chance. But yeah, I had a real good time, a good blast in Chicago. It's a fun city. I could spend all day just walking around the place. It's just that interesting to me. The town I live in, I grew up in since I was a kid. It's a small town. I think, yeah, there's like 30,000 people, maybe 40,000 by now here. And you go to a place like Chicago where there's 3 million on any given day. That's, you know, it's a, whoa, skyscrapers. You know, the nearest skyscrapers to me are an hour away. And there's only a few in that town or in that city. There's none in my town or city, whatever you want to call it. There's some tall buildings. I think the tallest one's maybe five floors. That's about it. There's nothing like you know, towering 10, 15 floor buildings. That's unheard of here. There's just, it's not that crowded. But you know, it was a good trip. But other than that, everything's going great. Running every day that you know, not every day. I had to cut back even more. I'm doing that about 4 times a week. I bought me some Under Armour while I was on my way back. I stopped in Michigan City. That's a very cool place. Got a huge mall up there, and bought some Under Armour up there. A sweatband because I'm tired of getting sweat in my eyes. TV shows I've been watching. Oh yes, this one's interesting. The old Buck Rogers TV show. I picked up the Buck Rogers Genesis game, and that got me to wondering, okay, what was the TV show? Now, the game's not based on the TV show. TV show's pretty corny, I'll tell you that. It's the old late 70s, early 80s Gil Gerard. It's corny, but you know what? It's good. I like it. I like stuff like that. It's got its funny moments. They did pretty good. Alright, I could ramble on for hours, and I apologize, but it's great to post a video to let everybody know I'm out there again. Working on the next review. I'm believing it's probably going to be something I've gotten a million requests for, and please hear me out on this. It's going to be Minecraft, because, like I said, people have been nuts about wanting me to review that game, and now that it's in beta, I probably should. Got my own server running on it, as you know. It's on the website, the address is. We're having some problems with it right now. We're in the transitioning from our big server to, we're on a, as I like to call it, a temporary or backup server until I get the full server up and running. What we did is basically we moved from a box that was able to, well, let me tell you, I'm a big Linux fan for servers, and our old box was running Linux. Hardly ever had any crashes. It's just it didn't have enough bandwidth, and the hardware was getting outdated. The new box, it's running Windows XP because I just threw something together real quick. We got 5 times the bandwidth, but thanks to the way Windows is with its DLL loading, I can't create the heap size unless I want to go through and rearrange stuff, and I forget what it's called, but sit there with Process Explorer and move DLLs around in memory so I can get larger heap size. It's a mess, a gum. I don't want to mess with it. I'd rather just wait, keep the player limit about 8 so the memory stays about stable, and then that's it. But when I get the new server up and running, it should be golden. But that'll be for the review sometime down the road. Until next time, everybody, good gaming.